How many people are working on this? Roughly 10, 11. So our sound guy, Robert, who is an actual rock star, he is currently with his band touring the UK. Got 10 shows in the UK, but before he went on this most recent tour, he made this music that you're listening to in the background, and the skeleton laugh, and the skeleton death, and some other stuff. So, progress. Let me switch weapons since I got a different weapon. Can I not use it? I didn't even check. Oh, it's two-handed, so I'd have to drop my torch. But let's do it. You're using HERP? Yes, we are. Do you think that the lore will be inspired by decisions you make for the game? That is, will the lore be informed by gameplay decisions you end up making rather than having an artificial story pinned to it? I think the lore is very much about building a world. Naturally there are quests, there are things to motivate your actions, but it's not an epic storyline. It's more about being a place, and in that place things happen. Are these new sounds? Yeah. They're sounds that we've had but didn't have implemented. So we just got them in. Nick was commenting that he thinks the gnome should be a bit bigger. I mean, at the moment the gnome is also floating, so it's really small. So I could definitely see that. But so my concern is that we get enough, that we maintain the distinction between, we've got a number of races, right? So we want to make sure that we don't muddy them all up in the middle. So, but think about it, like the gnome's floating off the ground, almost a leg length at the moment. We have this bug that keeps reappearing that makes him float. And so he's tiny. It should be one head bigger, a gnome-sized head or a normal-sized head. Was the choice for POC zones being desert due to being easier to build out? Rev, when we first, I think when I was like just screwing around in Blender the first time, I was thinking about how recognizable and nostalgic certain desert zones are for a lot of people, and yeah, plus they seemed a little bit simpler, and now people are complaining that there's too much brown. Of course, it's too brown. Well, just you wait, we'll address that. Do we take volunteers? We do not. We appreciate people being a part of the community. We try to engage in Discord as much as possible. There's a lot of good stuff that comes up in Discord that we can learn from. We appreciate people volunteering to go get the word out, letting all their friends and family and guilds know. And then when it comes to work, as we identify specific needs or specific people, like there will be times where we spot somebody in the community that has like a certain skill set, kind of a approach that we can recognize, etc. And then, you know, there's potential that I may reach out if we've got that need. Like if somebody's a world-class animator or something right now, we could I could probably reach out to you. If we watch how you interact with folks in Discord and team, and we realize you're good people, then yeah. I forgot to buff myself. Ding. Will lore be delivered mostly through items and extra game sources similar to EQ? Yeah, interaction with NPCs, items, books, and notes, and things that you find. item naming, NPC location, NPC aggro text, NPC death text. Wish I had a throw item or a bow. I would have tagged him just then. Promise. Honest. Zoo can sit. He's not your dog, Nick. Oh, pop. Goblin said, can't wait to get more races in this game. Think we'll do the next 3 races female. I mean, we can. Why not? When we start doing additional races, I think we should get more of the POC specific NPCs done before we invest much more in player characters. The reason why we went with gnome, ogre, and human is default. Gnome is going to be our smallest race, ogre our biggest race, and so that should help us with understanding the player controller and camera and environment creation and all of that stuff. But the goal isn't to necessarily go very broad on races straight out of the gate until we get all the systems figured out. Like we still don't have player characters complete. Right, like we don't have customization functioning, and I can't customize my character at character create. I don't think we've got robed characters fully working yet, right? So all of that stuff, all that needs to get done. POC, the proof of concept, if you guys hear POC, named. So the whole, like getting the stuff that we need in for proof of concept, first and foremost. And get basic sort of character stuff worked out. Does your widest and thinnest race not have implication to the environment, or do you expect all areas to accommodate all shape sizes? No, we already have areas that are restricted based off of size. The ogres can't fit through some areas. It's a little bit of, well, gnomes have the same jump height as everybody else at the moment, so that's not a problem. Gnomes can fit through weird like places already, so he's very sophisticated. I did a breakdown on ogres for Zukin earlier. Maybe I should show it. Way down the line when we do before we do our next player character, like new race, I think it would also be good for us to get female humans and human females, because that's also 100% needed for proof of concept. Will female dwarves have beards? It's likely there will be a beard option for female dwarves. Seems like one of those things we gotta do. The snake kick animation, it's gonna be a really good one. It'll be very subtle. Guys, I'm not holding my torch. Don't leave me. Oh geez, you got stunned. You did stunned arms. Oh my god, he got the stanky leg. You guys see this? He's not giving up. He's not giving up. He will not die. I didn't see anything about it. I haven't had a chance to catch up on the project 100% yet, but you don't intend to have any kind of bizarre auction house, right? Correct. Dargus responded with, they talked about having a kind of order system where you can make agreements with other players to sell stuff for you. So it would be a manual type of EC. So we've talked a little bit about putting in containers like bags and other containers that players could have that allow, essentially it serves as kind of an escrow system. Essentially I can give you something on consignment in a way where you can't rip me off, but you still have to do the legwork. It's essentially turning, it's trying to keep that kind of like EC tunnel manual sales set up, but with the ability for players to consign items in a safe way. Nice, we're finally about to get beat up a fair bit. Where's the bronze armor? Dude, I'm level 3. I'm just getting started. I've got no armor. I've got 1 glove on. Cleric around the corner. He died while stunned. Maybe that's why it bugs out like this. Nick said yes. MBGT said, I'm shocked at how quickly you guys can make progress. You must have excellent project management skills. No, we don't. We've been like anti-project management. We just have people that are, you know, hopping in and making progress. We've been very loose on project management. Occasionally to folks' apprehension. But I think modern software development workflows aren't always the best for game development anyways. Strict adherence to arbitrary design process just because it's the way things are done now is detrimental to a point. I mean, there's value, but I think the other challenge too is it's an all volunteer team, right? And so there's certain things that when they come up, people are like a little bit, you know, kind of, ooh, this is shiny, and they want to work on it, and they're passionate about doing it. And so if we tried to have like very strict kind of sprints set up, or you know, very, very strict project management. And I say strict because in order for project management to work, there's got to be, there's got to be some sort of accountability built into it, no matter how soft. And there's got to be this idea of, all right, so we are taking this specific path, whatever we've committed to for this period of time, in a way that's relatively predictable. And there are definitely benefits to that, and I do think that as a team we could probably do a better job of that. On the flip side, there have been so many times now where somebody has been like, hey, I want to do this other thing, and it eats up time that may be dedicated to the thing that we've kind of informally committed to doing. And that other thing winds up being just like, it's brilliant, it's very cool, it's inspiring. And then there, you know, again, this is, for the most part, it's people working on top of their, you know, their day job. And everybody, you know, for the most part, it's like managing either another job, or they're managing family, or they've just got, you know, they played a ton out of whatever they're playing, or right, they've got lives, and so again, it's a situation where when shit pops up and it's like, oh, this just happened, and somebody, you know, has to disappear for a few days or a few weeks, or in some cases a few months, then all right. And then the other thing too is, again, on the accountability front, you know, we can definitely be like, hey, if you want to be on the team, you've got to deliver on your promises, or on your commitments. But I also think that there's just a certain reality with us, you know, being volunteers, passion project. You know, we're all a bunch of quirky personalities as well. So yeah, I mean, that said, I'm happy with the level of progress. To be honest with you though, if you know, if we took a different approach with project management, if we took a different approach with holding ourselves accountable and pushing in certain areas or whatever, could we be further along? Absolutely. But for the most part, you know, happy with the pace and happy with where we're at. And I'm happy that some of the stuff has taken as long as it has over the last year and a half, just because of the, you know, people that eventually got on the team, right? Like, it's taken a certain amount of time, and I tend to believe that shit just kind of works for a reason sometimes. And so, you know, it's been great to have the team come together the way it has, and have the various people that have shown up. You know, because we've doubled the size of the team in under a year, or maybe even, yeah, I'd say doubled plus. But it's great now, you know, having everybody that's come on the team since back when it was just the original like 4 or 5 of us. So proof of concept is just one chunk. Getting the game to the point where it feels like it's, you know, more of a release level full game is a whole nother big chunk, and a lot, there's going to be a lot to making that like feasible. But we're trying to use proof of concept to help us learn about sort of the logistical considerations so that maybe we can do stuff like outsourcing, etc. to do it. And then once the game's live, then it's an MMO, right? It's going to be around for 30 years.